Everyone say good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, let's try that again. Good morning.
Good morning.
Third grade, sixth grade, and seventh grade. Welcome to a very special assembly today. Now, this assembly is a little bit different. We normally don't come together in a group like this. So I'd like to welcome our third graders as our special guests today. Third grade, welcome. Now, friends, the other thing that's a little bit different about today's assembly is we're going to kind of flip-flop the order we normally do things. Because today, the sixth grade is presenting kind of a unique assembly for you all. An assembly where there's a little bit of an interactive element. So Mr. Duque in the academic assembly portion of our show today is going to go last. What we will start with, and I'll call up the first person in just a moment, you'll hear from 3 7th grade students who have begun to work on their capstone. And they want to share with you some information about what they're working on and how you can help. The second thing we'll do is we'll celebrate 4 students who have really demonstrated some outstanding character recently. And their teachers wanted to recognize that. And last but not least, Mr. Duque and his students and Ms. Ward and her students have prepared for you what I think you're really going to enjoy, a fun science assembly. Okay? So that's what we'll have today. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your effort at being great assembly guests and audience members. We're going to begin. I'd like to invite Aiden Clark up. Aiden, you got it right there.
Hello, students and faculty of BFCCPS. My name is Aiden Clark, as Mr. Kernan just said. And for my capstone project, I'm working with the WWF, so I named my PowerPoint Save an Animal's Life. So, what is my capstone project? I'm working with WWF, or the World Wildlife Fund, and they work on many different levels to save endangered animals of all kinds. And I wanted to help, specifically with the black rhinoceros. And I chose the black rhinoceros because when I was going through to try and pick what I wanted to do for my capstone, I was going through their website and I saw that the black rhino is one of the most endangered types of rhinoceroses, and I've always loved rhinoceroses. Whenever I went to the zoo, I'd always take extra time to just observe them because I thought they were so cool. Like I said, I've always loved animals, and I would hate to see any animal go extinct. So I chose to work with the World Wildlife Fund because I've worked with them before for science and yeah. So my first goal is to raise money, and I'm going to hold small fundraisers next year, like hot chocolate sales, and I'm going to use the money I get to have a raffle, and then I'm going to raffle off the prizes I get, because when you adopt an animal, you can either do like a $5 adoption, a $10 adoption, or a $20 adoption, and with those adoptions you get prizes sent to you, and I'm going to raffle off the prizes to you guys, and you'll help an animal. Yeah. The second goal is to raise awareness, and you guys can do that too. Just tell your friends about the World Wildlife Fund, or you can go on any Apple device and get the World Wildlife Fund app and just play around with it, and you can learn a lot about different animals and how they're endangered. And the last goal is to raffle. So I said earlier, I'm going to use the money I get to raffle off the prizes I get, and I'm going to adopt more animals with that money too. And how you can help is use the WWF app on the school iPads, or get it on your own Apple device. You can just donate money to WWF or adopt an animal. When you adopt an animal, though, it doesn't get shipped to your house. If you adopt a giraffe, it's not going to go to your house. And you can also just tell your friends about it, how they can help, and just spread the word, because the more people that know, the better, the more helpful it will be. And that's the video. So I said earlier, I was working with the black rhinoceros, and that's a video about it. But
rhinos generally are under huge pressure. We really have to fight for them. If they don't have champions, they're doomed to disappear. This is the kindest way we've yet discovered of moving a rhino from the field to a vehicle.
It is a big operation. It's a lot of animals to try and move in a really short time.
There are no roads. There's no access whatsoever. You know, most of these parks are wilderness area.
The WWF Black Rhino Range Expansion Project aims to boost the growth rate of the black rhino populations of South Africa.
It's become a passion. It's not just a job. It's a passion, and yeah, it gets into your soul. There hasn't really been an operation of this nature with 20 black rhino conducted in South Africa.
It's a bit sad to let them go. You get attached to them, the field rangers know them by name.
Every single one is different. You know, it's a wild animal that's completely unpredictable.
We're really glad for them, but we think we know that it's critical and it's extremely important to us.
Over 1,400 kilometer journey. It's the longest journey I've ever done with rhinos.
The black rhino coming back in this area is a very big thing.
This has been a very good cooperative thing because we've got Eastern Cape parks, we've got sand parks, we've got disemvelicated wildlife, and of course WWF.
And I think it could only work because all the different parties are so passionate.
It's a huge thing to see for the first time coming to this particular area.
It stops here for us, but for them it's now a lifetime commitment that they have to keep up.
I think it's a great honor for them to be able to have these rhinos. These are very special rhinos.
There's no doubt that this project has made a huge difference to rhino conservation in South Africa.
So, what that video was saying is that the rhino population is getting cut down because people are destroying their natural habitat where they live. So they're trying to move them to a different part of South Africa to boost the population again. And because they're so big and there's no roads in South Africa, they didn't know how to move it. So they found that way, which is to basically make it unconscious and then attach it to like a helicopter and just fly it to a different area, and that seems to work. So thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the video and talk about
Alright, friends, when you see and hear about Aiden's fundraisers over the summer or next year, hopefully you understand a little bit more about what it's all about. We have 2 more students who want to tell you about some of the capstone things they're working on. I'm going to invite Kimmy up now to talk about her project. She is also working with animals, but thinking about ways to help sick animals a little bit closer to home. Please give Kimmy a round of applause.
Good morning, students and faculty. I'm Kimmy Kim, and I will be talking about my 2014 Puppy Up Walk and animal cancer.
Candy's been touched by cancer.
I've been touched by cancer.
Max has been touched by cancer.
Sonny's been touched by cancer.
We've been touched by cancer.
Murphy was touched by cancer.
I learned at an early age that cancer is unforgiving. I lost my hero and best friend, Uncle Pete. Years later, it happened again. I've organization funds comparative oncology studies that give us key insights into what's causing cancer and how we can prevent it.
It's April 29th at the Puppy Up Walk in Memphis, Tennessee.
Puppy Up is our battle cry. We will not give up, nor will we give in to cancer. Our nationwide Puppy Up walks are how we spread the word about comparative oncology. In 2010, we held walks in 12 cities, and in this year, we're in 40.
So animal cancer is a very common disorder in pets that can cause cell growth and results in abnormal mass of tissue without any purpose, and it can have a very high risk of death. Cancer is found in people all over the world, but is most commonly found in animals. Cancer is usually found in pets that are old. Over 50% of dogs all over the world at the age of 10 or over can have a highly risk of having cancer. So far, scientists have not found any cures for cancer, but only medication treatments that will extend lives. And even though many dogs and cats have cancer, countless number of people still don't know about this disease. I have a relationship with animal cancer. I once had a dog named Magic who suffered bravely, then passed away at the age of 9 because of kidney cancer. Sometimes cancer can strike all at once. One day you have your dog, then the next day cancer takes her away from you. Magic was lethargic. She had a loss of appetite and was internally bleeding. She was given IV fluids, but was too late. She was at the last stage of cancer. Today, the cause is still unknown, but there are many theories to what triggers it, such as genetic influences. If the mother or father of puppies had cancer, then it's most likely that the puppies will have cancer too. Environmental influences also have a big impact. Because of pollution, toxins in the air have a big impact. Because of pollutions, cigarettes, chemicals, your dog can get cancer from just a sniff. Exposures to chemicals and tobacco smoke can lead to animals and people getting lung cancer and oral cancer. Smoke particles in the air can attach to the fur of the dog, and when they groom themselves, they can digest these particles, which can lead to tumor development within the oral cavity. Certain nutrients can also trigger cancer if consumed too much of. There are several different symptoms relating to animal cancer. The classic signs of cancer are lumps in the body, a wound that is not healing, swelling in the bone, unusual bleeding, and lethargy. Sometimes at an early stage of cancer, there are little to no signs of cancer. Cancer can swoop in suddenly. On August 23, 2014, I will be hosting a 2-mile walk for cancer at the Franklin Town Common. The walk starts at 11 a.m. and ends at 1:30 p.m. I will be introducing a human cancer survivor and a canine cancer survivor too. By doing this, I will raise donations and spread awareness. And the donations will be going to the $2 Million Foundation for Research. The organization that I'm working with creates walks throughout the country. It is a nonprofit organization called 2 Million Dogs. 2 Million Dogs help host walks. It raises awareness for cancer and raises donations. The donations go to understanding the links between human and companion animal cancer, creating cross-institutional collaborative platform, developing new approaches to research, and funding translational cancer studies that benefits both people and pets. 2 Million Dogs help spread awareness about puppy walks through global companion seminars, speaking engagements, social media, events, broadcasts, and other forms of media. Next, and thank you for listening. If you have any questions, I'll be going to the 6th through 7th grade today with flyers. Thank you.
Nice job, Kim. She had a PowerPoint. We weren't able to get hers to work. You guys did a nice job listening. She did a nice job sharing her speech. I hope if you're around, you can participate in her walk on the Franklin Common, which is right across the street. Help some great dogs out. We have one more student who wants to tell you about some things that they're working on. And instead of helping animals, this student is thinking of ways to help people. Kids that go to this school, other kids across Massachusetts feel a little bit better about themselves if they can. I'd like to call Kavia now to.
Good morning, students and faculty. My name is Kaylee Simone, and for my capstone project, I am focusing on raising self-esteem. I chose this project because most kids feel very bad about themselves, and no one should feel like they aren't good enough. Self-esteem is how you value yourself, and how you think about yourself, and how you go and think about your day-to-day activities. And there are two types of self-esteem. There is high self-esteem, which is good to have, and low self-esteem, which is bad to have, and can be fixed to having low, and it can be solved to have good self-esteem. Some signs of having high self-esteem are you're confident in what you do and who you are. You trust others and are willing to do things, and you are happy with your life and what you do. Low self-esteem is not being happy with yourself and feeling like you are not good enough. You try to blend in with everyone else around you, and you try to not stick out and try to just fit in. Some signs of that are being sad about your life and thinking on the negative side rather than the positive side. And you think lowly of yourself, and that others think you think that others think lowly of you too. Some causes to have low self-esteem are not feeling that you are good enough, you being bullied, physical and verbal abuse, and thinking that you don't fit in. Some effects are you start to not like the real you start having anxiety, and you try to change who you are. To raise self-esteem, it may seem easy, but it has a lot of hard work and effort. You have to think positively, not negatively. If something bad happens, don't think about all things that you should have done. Think of things that you can do next time to make it better. And remember that you don't have to fit in, and being unique is okay. And for my capstone project, I'm working with Girls Inc., which is a non-profit organization that works with girls 6 to 18 on doing activities to raise their self-esteem and help them feel confident. And their slogan is strong, smart, bold. The next organization that I'm working with is MA Miss Amazing. And this helps girls and women with disabilities feel confident. This is a pageant, and they host it every year. And this year they're going to nationals, and that's why for my capstone project, I worked on raising money for them. And their mission is to provide opportunities to girls, women, to build self-esteem in a safe environment. And for this, I sold bracelets, and they were sold $2 each, and all of my money went to MA Miss Amazing. And I sold almost all my bracelets and raised almost $200. And how you can help is by throughout the year, I'll be having some fundraisers, and you can help by donating money to my cause. Thank you.
Now, we have so many students in 7th and 8th grade and 3rd graders. When you're in 7th and 8th grade and 6th graders next year, you'll be thinking of ways that you can help your community or people in our country or people around the world. Now, it's not always easy to help everybody who's doing some great work, but you start to think about the causes that you care about. When you hear kids talk about animals, if you're passionate about animals, maybe that's the one that you can help. If you want to help girls, the organization Girls Inc., maybe that's the organization you can pitch in and help them too. Now, friends, we're going to go to the second part of our assembly now. I'm going to ask Ms. Hurlicek to come up, and she has 3 students she would like to recognize for some really positive character. Give her a round of applause.
Hello, good morning. First, I just want to recognize Aiden, Kimmy, and Kaylee for doing an amazing job this morning presenting your capstone projects. Really, really well done, the 3 of you. First, I would like to call up Caitlin Broyles. Okay, Caitlin, thank you for being of service to our community and our classroom. You regularly step up to lend a hand without being asked. Your commitment to academic excellence and your kindness are gifts to this school community. Thank you for being you. Next, I'll call up Beth Viveros, please. Thank you for being of service to our community and our classroom. You also regularly step up to lend a hand without being asked. Your kindness and gentle ways are very much appreciated. Thank you for being you. And last but not least, I'd like to call up Amanda Tardif, please. Thank you for being of service to our classroom and community. You also regularly step up to lend a hand without being asked. You are a leader and a role model. Thank you for being you. Thank you, sir.
I need to show that. In addition, he often seeks opportunities to help in the classroom, from taking attendance in the morning, to putting away materials, whether he's used them or not, to ensuring that the Chromebooks are plugged in and secure at the end of every day. Although Shoyab just joined us this year, our classroom community will be very different places.
All right, welcome. My name is Mr. Duque, and here's your feature presentation. Grade 6 is putting on an assembly about bridges, which is a unit that we've been recently working on. What we'd like to do is just show you a little bit about a very brief overview about bridges, different kinds of bridges, and some things that go into what makes a bridge work. Then after that, after the presentation, I have a little activity for you guys to do. I would also like to thank the third grade for coming down. Third grade did a unit this year on bridges, and they've been invited to come hang out, watch, and to potentially help. So, without further ado, bridges.
A bridge is built to span physical obstacles such as a body of water, valley, or road, for the purpose of providing a passage over the obstacle. Designs of bridges vary depending on the function of the bridge, the type of terrain where the bridge is constructed and anchored, the material used to make it, and the funds available to build it.
Factors that engineers need to consider include the distance spanned, types of materials available, budget, amount and type of traffic, the environment loads such as wind, pressure, and suction, snow amounts, earthquake forces, soil conditions, maintenance costs, environmental impact, and the local geography.
Different bridges handle these loads in different ways. Generally, bridges are designed to spread the forces out evenly over a greater area, or move stress from an area of weakness to an area of strength.
Median bridges are supported by 2 piers and can only support short distances.
Truss bridges, often referred to as train bridges. Many different types of bridges incorporate truss designs. Trusses are extremely strong and sturdy.
Suspension bridges. The roadway is supported by suspended cables. Arch bridges. They're very rigid and can withstand a lot of weight. However, their shape limits the distance spanned. Suspension bridges. The roadway is supported by suspended cables. These bridges are strong and flexible. Suspension bridges are great for long distances.
Cable-stayed bridges. Rigid cables anchor the bridge. The deck is supported by piers. They're great for long distances and are also nice looking, but they are costly.
Cantilever bridges. They're a complex version of the truss bridge. Diagonal bars create a rigid diamond shape. This design is one of the strongest designs in the world, but also the most expensive to construct.
And now for hopefully the fun part. What I'm going to ask the 6th and 7th grade to do is to first break up into your advising groups. Your advising groups will each get 20 sheets of newspaper and 1 roll of scotch tape. You'll have approximately 10 minutes to design a bridge that will span a gap of 24 inches. You'll also be given a meter stick with inches on the other side so that you can plan accordingly. When your time is up, the 3rd grade will be in charge of testing your bridges to see how strong they are. bridge testing in my class where you used rocks and sand. The bridges this time around will be using science textbooks to judge how, see how it So ladies and gentlemen, grade 6, please find your advising groups on this side. Grade 7, find your advising groups right here.
Builders, please remember that you need to design a bridge that will hold up books. Science books that you use in 6th and 7th. Newspaper and tape only. There's approximately 5 minutes remaining. Ladies and gentlemen, stomp once. Ladies and gentlemen, stomp twice. Okay.
Hey.
Here's how we'll do this. In a moment, I'm going to call the grade 7 advising groups. Grade 7 advising groups will meet down here on the floor, and they will be assigned a 3rd grade testing team. The 3rd grade testing team will slowly and gently apply books to the top of the bridge. They have been just verified that there is 24 inches from chair to chair. And we'll see how many guys. Fill time is done. We'll see which bridge can hold the most books. So at this time, please, grade 7 advising groups meet down here on the floor. Grade 6 advising groups, please form a line down here. Read time. Execute a shh. Okay. A force being applied to a bridge is called a load. A bridge has to be able to support itself. What is the name that we give that force? Just simply the ability to support itself and keep it up? Dead load. Thank you. Good. The ability to simply hold itself up is called the dead load. Now, when you start putting trucks across it, people, animals, now what kind of a load is that? Good, a live load. All right. For a bridge to be successful, it has to, at the very least, support the dead load. Can a bridge be flimsy? Yeah. It shouldn't be. It should be a little bit flexible, but it should not simply cave in under its own weight. What can you do to make the bridge more rigid? What did some of you guys do to make the bridge more rigid? Yeah, you taped the ends to the chair. You anchored the ends. This is how a suspension bridge works. There are giant anchors embedded deep into the earth that hang on to those cables. Right? They help to anchor those cables to keep them tight to suspend the roadway underneath. A beam bridge uses giant piers embedded into the earth to anchor down to keep those ends up to help it make more rigid, become more rigid. You guys aren't supposed to do that. Grade 3. Were there any groups that held no books at all? Grade 3, without having people hold on to the ends or tape them down, did anybody test a bridge that held one book? Did anybody test a bridge that held 2 books? Did anybody test a bridge that held 3 books without anchoring, without holding the ends or taping them down? Did anybody test a bridge that held 4 books? Without taping them down or holding? And did they span the 24 inches? Did they tape it down? So let's go down to the 3. Did any, 3rd grade, did anybody hold 3 books that did not tape the ends, did not hold the ends, and did not move the chairs closer? Grade 3, do you know which design, which group that was? Who had it? Who had the 3 books that didn't anchor anything down? Stand on up. Hold up the bridge. Round of applause. Thank you, guys. Even the flimsiest materials can be combined together to make something strong. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this assembly. I hope you learned a little bit of something. Grade 3, thank you for coming down. Normally you don't. I appreciate all your help. And await instructions for dismissal.
I'd like to just give one last round of applause for our capstone students that presented today. And 3rd grade, you got to experience our Character and Action Awards, so one round of applause for our students who really And then I think we need to congratulate Mr. Duque, because this was a really awesome assembly that he put together, so great job. I'm going to ask grades 6 and 7 to stay seated. Mrs. Erkovic or Mrs. Palmer, is there a 3rd grade PE class right now or no? No? Okay. So we're going to go ahead and dismiss grade 3 first. Grade 6 and 7, stay seated, please.